Hi students, now we are going to discuss about color of the metal complex and crystal field splitting energy. Color of the metal complex and crystal field splitting energy. The crystal field splitting energy is used to explain those compounds are colored in presence of unpaired electron excitation from one energy level to another energy level. The electron excitation from lower energy level to higher energy level. That's why the compounds are associated or appears as a color. Most of the transition metal complex are colored. The substance or coordination compound or coordination complex appear or exhibit the color because of it absorb the light from the in particular wavelength in visible region and they transmit the rest of the color in visible light. The complex or coordination compound or coordination complex compounds exhibit the color because of the complex are absorb the light of particular wavelength in visible region and transmit the rest of the color in visible light. That's why maximum coordination complex or coordination compounds are appear as a color. Another one, in the transmitted light enter our eye, our brain recognizes the color of the substance or color of the complex. The color of the transmitted light is given by complementary color of the absorbed light. What is the meaning of complementary color? Opposite direction or opposite side present in the color of the absorbed light known as a complementary color. Now we are going to discuss about color wheel. Color wheel. The color wheel consists of Xii region. We have already learned in Xii region. In the Xii region, which contain totally how many colors are there? 7 colors are there. One is a violet, then indigo, blue, then green, yellow, orange, and then red. Wavelength of the in this Xii region, violet exhibit the in then 400 to 450 nanometer. Indigo also exhibit the 400 to 450 nanometer. Blue 450 to 480 nanometer. Green 480 to 560 nanometer. Yellow 560 to 600 nanometer. In then orange 600 to in then 640 nanometers. Yellow exhibit the in then 640 to 700 nanometer. 700 nanometer. It is a wavelength of visible region containing Xii colors. What is the meaning of complementary color? Opposite direction contain a complex or opposite direction or opposite side contain a color of the substance known as a complementary color. For example, violet is a complementary color of green. Orange is a complementary color of blue. Red is a complementary color of blue and green. Yellow is a complementary color of indigo and violet. Orange is a complementary color of indigo and blue. Green is a complementary color of violet. In then yellow is a complementary color of and then indigo and violet. Red is a complementary color of blue and green. In then what? Blue is a complementary color of red and orange. So the color wheel contain opposite side or opposite direction of substance contain a color known as a complementary colors. Complementary colors. So the substance absorb the opposite direction contain colors and exhibit the opposite direction contain colors. So orange is a then what? Complementary color of blue. For example, copper sulfate pentahydrate. CuSO4.5 moles of water molecule. Copper sulfate pentahydrate. The copper sulfate pentahydrate in then appears as a blue color. Copper sulfate pentahydrate appears as a blue color. But the copper sulfate pentahydrate absorbs the orange color. What is the opposite direction color of orange color? Blue. So copper sulfate pentahydrate appears as a blue color but absorb the orange color and transmit the blue color of the substance known as a complementary color of the compounds. Complementary color of the compounds. In the color of the compounds are in the observed color of the any organic compounds or any inorganic compounds or any coordination compound can be explained by crystal field theory. Crystal field theory. Cfse, crystal field theory. The crystal field theory explains the most of the transition metal complex are colored because of excitation of electron from one energy level to another energy level. Okay, we have already learned ligand field theory. The ligand field causes transition of electron, transition of central metal ion containing unpaired electron, transition from lower energy level to higher energy level. Lower energy level expressed as a T2G, higher energy level expressed as a EG. So, when white light fall on the transition metal complex, the transition metal complex which contain transition metal ion or central metal ion absorb the visible region corresponding to crystal field splitting energy and transmit the rest of visible light which is responsible for the color of the compound, for color of the substance or color of the compounds. When white light fall on the complex, the complex contains central metal ion or central metal atom. The central metal atom absorb visible light or visible region correspond to crystal field splitting energy and transmit the rest of the color which is responsible for color of the substance. In the absorption maximum or absorption causes transition or excitation of d electron from one energy level to another energy level, lower energy level to higher energy level, T2G energy level to EG energy level known as a TD transition, known as 3D TD transition. In the D expressed as a T2G orbital contain totally 3 D subcell or D orbital. One is a DXY, DYZ, DXZ. In the EG orbital or EGD contain 2 orbitals are there. One is a Tx square minus y square, then Tz square. We have already learned in 9th standard, 10th standard, 11th standard, 12th standard also. Then excitation of electron. Excitation of electron, excitation from one energy level to another energy level. When absorption of light radiation from the visible regions. So, absorption maximum transition of d electron from one energy level to another energy level, lower energy level to higher energy level, T2G energy level to EG energy level known as a TD transition. Let us understand the TD transition of complex metal ions. For example, titanium H2O6 3 plus complex. 3 plus complex which contain titanium 3 plus ions because of then H2O neutral ligands are there. H2O neutral ligand. Titanium H2O6 and the 3 plus can be expressed as a hexa aqua titanium 3 ions. It is IUPAC name of this complex. In the titanium H2O6 3 plus which contain titanium 3 plus ion. The titanium 3 plus ion has D1 configuration. Titanium 3 plus ion has D1 configuration. The D1 configuration of titanium 3 plus ion, only one unpaired electron present in T2G energy level of DXY orbital because of in the D orbital split into D orbital consists of totally how many orbitals are there? Totally 5 orientation, 5 orbitals are there. D subcell contain totally 5 orbitals are there. One is a DXY, another one is a DYZ, then DXZ. Then dx squared minus y squared, then dz square orbitals. The dxy, dyz, dxz, dx squared minus y squared are clever leaf shape. The dxy, dyz, dxz, clever leaf shape which contain totally how many loops are there? 4 loops are there. In the 2 loops meet in one point is known as a nodal point. So each orbital which contain 2 nodal points are there. So clever leaf shape dxy, dyz, dxz. But electron density placed in the respective plane. It is xy plane, the yz plane, xz planes. Next one, dxy minus y squared orbital also clever leaf shape. But electron density increases in x and y axis. dz squared orbital similar to shape of the dz squared orbital similar to in the p subcell. P subcell what shape? Dumbbell shape. dz squared orbital also dumbbell shape but dot net electron present in center of the nucleus. It is a d subcell which contain totally 5 orbitals are there. The dxy, dyz, dxz is placed in lower energy level of crystal field splitting energy. dx squared minus y squared, dz squared is placed in higher energy level of crystal field splitting energy. So, in the D subcell split into 2 energy level. One is a lower energy level, another one is a higher energy level. Lower energy level can be expressed as a T2G. higher energy level can be expressed as a Eg. In the T2G energy level which contain totally 3 orbitals are there. One is a dxy, dyz, dxez, dxez. In the higher energy level contain Eg energy which has 2 orbitals are there. One is a dx squared minus y squared, another one dz squared. Dx squared minus y squared, another one dz squared. In titanium H2O6 3 plus complex contain titanium 3 plus ion which has D1 configuration. Only one unpaired electron present in lower energy level of Txy orbital. Lower energy level of T2G. T2G contain dxy orbitals. When white light fall on in this complex, what complex? Titanium H2O6 3 plus complex. When white light or visible region is a fall on in this complex, the complex contain one unpaired electron, excitation from lower energy level to higher energy level. Here, in the spectral data shows in the absorption maximum is 20,000 centimeter inverse. When white light fall on the complex, excitation of one unpaired electron, excitation from lower energy level to higher energy level. Here, spectral data shows the absorption maximum is 20,000 centimeter inverse. And corresponding crystal field splitting energy, T2G energy level to Eg energy level transition known as splitting energy. Corresponding to splitting energy which is equal to 239.7 kilojoule per mole. Kilojoule per mole. Now, in the transition light associated with the absorption maximum is a purple color. That's why this complex shows as a purple color. It is the color of the complex. Okay? In the titanium octagonal of titanium 3 plus ions. In the titanium 3 plus ion shows the different color with the different ligands. What? In the titanium H2O, one of the neutral ligand. In the neutral ligand H2O is coordinated with the titanium means shows the purple color. Another one, bromine coordinated with the titanium, fluorine coordinated with the titanium, then Cn minus coordinated with the titanium means the compound shows the different color, which leads to crystal field splitting energy is determined by associated with the ligand also. Okay. Next one, scandium 3 plus ion. Scandium 3 plus ion. Yttrium 3 plus ion. In the titanium 4 plus ion. Titanium 4 plus ion. Zirconium 4 plus ion. Copper plus ion. Zinc 2 plus ion. Cadmium 2 plus ion. In the silver plus ion. Then mercury Hg2 plus ions. These complex metal ions are colorless because of in the scandium 3 plus, yttrium 3 plus, titanium 4 plus, zirconium 4 plus complex D0 configuration. There is no electrons are there in D subset. Scandium 3 plus, yttrium 3 plus, titanium 4 plus, zirconium 4 plus substances are colorless because of there is no unpaired electron, there is no d electron in d subcell. That's why excitation of electron from T2G energy level to Eg is not possible. That's why the complex are colorless substance. Next, in the copper plus, zinc 2 plus, cadmium 2 plus, mercury, hydrogerium 2 plus, then silver, argentum 2 plus. These complex are also colorless because of it is a completely filled D10 configuration. There is no unpaired electrons are there. These substances which contain there is no electrons are there. These substances which contain there is no unpaired electrons are there. That's why DD transition not possible. That's why the compounds does not show the color. It is the color of the complex and the crystal field splitting energy. So in the titanium H2O6 3 plus is a purple color. The titanium complex of octagonal substance is shows the different color with the different ligand Br minus, F minus, Cl minus, which is leads to crystal field splitting by ligands. Scandium 3 plus, yttrium 3 plus, titanium 4 plus, zirconium 4 plus substance is a colorless compounds because of it is a D0 configuration. There is no electrons are there. Zinc 2 plus, copper plus, and then cadmium 2 plus, mercury 2 plus, silver plus substance also colorless because of there is no unpaired electrons are there. There is no transition of DD transition takes place. That's why these substances are colorless substance. It is a color of the metal complex and crystal field splitting energy. Okay. Next one, metallic carbonyls. Metallic carbonyls. What is meaning of metallic carbonyl? In the metal carbonyl of transition metal complex of carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide. Carbon can combine with oxygen to form different kind of oxides of carbons are there. Carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, bicarbonate, in the dicarbonate, then carbon sesquioxide, different type of carbon oxides compounds are there. But in the metallic carbonyl which contain only carbon monoxide. So what is the meaning of metallic carbonyl? The metallic carbonyl of transition metal complex of carbon monoxide which contain metal carbon bond. Important points. Metal carbon bond. How to form of metal carbon bonds? Carbon monoxide is one of the neutral molecules. The neutral molecules contain excess of lone pair electrons are there. According to in the what? Ligand field theory or crystal field theory, every metal atom has create the vacant orbital equal to number of coordination number. So number of coordination elements. Okay. That's why in the carbon monoxide contain excess of lone pair electrons are there. That carbon monoxide donate pair of electron to vacant d orbital of metal to form of metal carbonyl compounds. Metal carbonyl compounds. Here the carbon monoxide CO, carbon monoxide, neutral molecule. So in the metal carbonyl of transition metal contain carbon monoxide which has metal carbon bond. Carbon monoxide is a neutral molecules. Okay. First homoleptic compound. Two types of complex are there. One is a homoleptic complex and one is a heteroleptic complex. Homoleptic complex which contain all ligands are similar. All ligands are same or only one kind of ligand present in a complex known as a homoleptic complex. Another one, heteroleptic complex are there. The heteroleptic complex which contain different kind of ligands. Not same kind of ligand, different kind of ligand. So, same kind of ligand present in a pair molecules known as a homoleptic complex. Different kind of ligand present in a pair molecules known as a heteroleptic complex. First homoleptic complex of nickel tetracarbonyl. Nickel tetracarbonyl. NiCO4. Nickel tetracarbonyl was first reported by Mons, scientist name Mons, in 1890. In 1890. These compounds widely studied because of its used as a industrial importance and catalytic property, ability to release the carbon monoxides. That's why in these compounds widely studied in our life. Okay. Next one, classification of complex. Classification. In the metallic carbonyl complex, mainly classified into two types. One is a classification based on number of metal atom. Number of metal atom. Classification based on number of metal atom. Next one, in the classification based on structure. Classification based on the structure. Then, in the number of classification based on the number of metal atom. Those compounds which contain only one metal, those compounds which contain two or more metal. So, depend upon number of metal atom present in complex compound or metallic carbonyl, if further classified into two types. One is a mononuclear, mononuclear metal carbonyl. Mononuclear metal carbonyl. Another one, polynuclear metal carbonyl. Mononuclear metal carbonyl, polynuclear metal carbonyl. The mononuclear metal carbonyl is simply represented as a simple complex. For example, nickel tetracarbonyl 4. Then in an iron metal pentacarbonyl 5. Chromium in an hexacarbonyl 6. Nickel tetracarbonyl is a tetrahedral shape. Iron pentacarbonyl is a trigonal bipyramidal shape. Chromium hexacarbonyl is a octahedral shape. It is an example of mononuclear metal carbonyl which contain only one metal atom. Only one metal atom. Nickel only one metal, iron only one metal, chromium only one metal present in per molecule of metal complex known as a mononuclear metal carbonyl complex. Next one, polynuclear metal carbonyl. In the polynuclear metal carbonyl which contain two or more metal atom present in a per molecule, two or more metal. In the polynuclear metal carbonyl may be classified into two types. One is a homonuclear metal carbonyl. Homonuclear metal carbonyl. Another one, heteronuclear metal carbonyl. Homonuclear metal carbonyl, heteronuclear metal carbonyl. Homonuclear metal carbonyl which contain two or more metal but same kind of metals. For example, Mn2CO8 one complex, two metals. Then both metals are same. Then cobalt CO2 CO10 10 times. So CO is a cobalt metal. The CO is a carbon monoxide. It is a 10 number. Another one, in the iron metal Fe3CO12. Totally how many metals are there in this compound? 3 metals are there. The 3 metals are same known as a homo. Heteronuclear metal carbonyls. Example, manganese MnCO cobalt is CO 10 times. How many metals are there? Manganese 1 metal, cobalt 1 metal, 2 metals are there. Then manganese Mn, another one rhenium ReCO 10 times. CO 10 times. Manganese 1 metal, rhenium 1 metal. So two different metals are there. That is known as a heteronuclear metal carbonyl. So polynuclear metal carbonyl which contain two or more metal. Further classified into two types. One is a homonuclear metal carbonyl, heteronuclear metal carbonyl. The homonuclear metal carbonyl which metal carbonyl, example Mn2CO8, CO2CO10, Fe3CO12. These complex which contain same kind of metal. Two manganese metal present in compound, two cobalt metals are there, 3 iron metals are there. But here heteronuclear metal carbonyl which contain manganese 1 then cobalt, 2 metals are there. If the two metals are different known as heteronuclear metal carbonyl, manganese and rhenium, manganese and cobalt. It is a heteronuclear metal carbonyls. Next one is based on the structure. These classification all are is based on the number of metal atom. Is depend upon number of metal atom. Is classified into two types. One is a mononuclear metal carbonyl, polynuclear metal carbonyl. Mononuclear metal carbonyl which contain only one metal atom. Example, nickel tetracarbonyl, iron pentacarbonyl, chromium hexacarbonyls are there. Polynuclear metal carbonyl which contain two or more metal atoms are there. Is further classified into two types. One is a homonuclear metal carbonyl, heteronuclear metal carbonyl. Homonuclear metal carbonyl which contain only one kind of metals are there. Heteronuclear metal carbonyl which contain two different kind of metals are there. Okay. Next one is a classification based on the structure. In the structure of the compounds are metallic carbonyl compound which contain binuclear metal compounds involve metal bond, either metal bond one way or metal bond or bridged metal carbonyl. What? Bridged metal carbonyl, bridged carbonyl group or both. Both means those compounds which contain both metal bond or bridged carbonyl groups. Bridged carbonyl groups. The carbonyl ligand directly linked with only one kind of metals known as terminal carbonyl group. Terminal carbonyl group. One way. The carbonyl group or carbonyl ligand directly linked with only one metal atom known as terminal carbonyl group. Another one, in the carbonyl group directly linked with two metal of simultaneously known as bridged carbonyl group. Bridged carbonyl groups. So carbonyl group directly linked with only one metal atom known as terminal carbonyl group. The carbonyl group directly bond with two metal atom simultaneously known as a bridged carbonyl group. So it's a depend upon structure of the compound. Depend upon structure of the carbonyl compounds can be classified into two types. Mainly classified into two types. One is a non-bridged metal carbonyl. Non-bridged metal carbonyl. Non-bridged metal carbonyl. Another one, bridged metal carbonyl. Bridged metal carbonyl. Non-bridged metal carbonyl. Non-bridged metal carbonyl, bridged metal carbonyls. Two types are there. Based on the structure, those compounds which contain binuclear metal carbonyl involve either metal bond or bridged carbonyl ligands or both. In the carbonyl group or carbonyl ligand directly linked with only one metal atom known as terminal carbonyl group. Those carbonyl group directly bond with two metal atoms simultaneously known as bridged carbonyl group. Based on the structure of metallic carbonyl, further classified into two types. One is a non-bridged metal carbonyl, another one is a bridged metal carbonyls. Non-bridged metal carbonyl does not contain bridged carbonyl ligands. The non-bridged metal carbonyl further classified into two types. One is a non-bridged metal carbonyl which contain terminal carbonyl ligand. Non-bridged metal carbonyl. Non-bridged metal carbonyl which contain terminal non-bridged metal carbonyl which contain terminal CO carbonyl ligands. Terminal carbonyl ligands. Example, nickel, Ni, CO. It is a tetrahedral shape. Another one, iron metal, Fe, and then CO, then CO. Trigonal bipyramidal shape. Then chromium Cr, octahedral, Cr, CO. It is octahedral shape. These compounds example for non-bridged metal carbonyl. The non-bridged metal carbonyl does not contain bridged carbonyl ligands. The non-bridged metal carbonyl further classified into two types. One is a non-bridged metal carbonyl with terminal carbonyl ligands only. It is an example of terminal carbonyl ligands directly bonded with the central metal atom. It is a nickel tetracarbonyl. It is a tetrahedral shape. It is a trigonal bipyramidal shape. Iron, then what? Pentacarbonyl. Chromium hexacarbonyl is octahedral shape. Next one is a classification from this topic. Next one, it is a non-bridged metal carbonyl with terminal carbonyl group. Another one, non-bridged metal carbonyl with non-bridged metal carbonyl. Non-bridged metal carbonyl with terminal terminal carbonyl group plus metal bond. It is non-brittle metal carbonyl with terminal carbonyl group only. Another one way, non-brittle metal carbonyl with terminal carbonyl group plus metal bond. For example, in the manganese Mn2CO10, in the Mn2CO10 can be simple way written as CO5 Mn bond MnCO5. This compound can be briefly expressed as manganese bond manganese 1 2 3 4 5 carbon monoxide ligand, then 1 2 3 4 5 CO carbon ligands. Another examples are that in the tectinium Ce twice CO10 and rhenium Re2CO10. It is also an example of non-brittle metal carbonyls. So non-brittle metal carbonyl further classified into two types. One is a non-brittle metal carbonyl with terminal carbonyl ligands. Example. Another one, non-brittle metal carbonyl with terminal carbonyl ligand as well as a metal bond. Metal bond. Example, in the ditectinium carbonyl, in the dirhenium carbonyl, in the dimanganese carbonyls, which contain metal bonds and in the what? In the terminal carbonyl ligands. Next one, bridged metal carbonyl. Bridged metal carbonyl. In the bridged metal carbonyl which contain the last one, bridged metal carbonyl. Bridged metal carbonyl. The bridged metal carbonyl which contain two or more bridged carbonyl group. Bridged carbonyl group, CO group, bridged carbonyl group, and along with in the what? Two or more terminal carbonyl group. Terminal carbonyl group and metal bond. Metal bond. So bridged metal carbonyl which contain two or more bridged carbonyl group along with two or more terminal carbonyl group and metal bond. Example, diion Fe, diion carbon monoxide 9 times, iron metal Fe carbon monoxide, then Fe carbon monoxide, and then Fe 1 2 3 bridged carbonyl groups are there. 1 2 3 CO carbonyl groups are there. 1 2 3 CO carbonyl groups are there. So in the diion carbonyl compound which contain 1 2 3 bridged carbonyl groups, 1 2 3 4 5 6 terminal carbonyl groups. So diion carbonyl which contain 3 bridged carbonyl groups are there, 6 terminal carbonyl groups are there. It is one way. Another one, in the what? Cobalt CO twice CO8 dicobalt in the what? Octacarbonyl compounds. In the dicobalt octacarbonyl compounds exhibit the two possible isomers are there. One is in the cobalt metal directly bonded with another cobalt metal. Remaining totally how many ligands are there? 8 ligands are there. Each cobalt metal directly bonded with 4 ligands. 1 2 3 4 CO CO, 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 1, 2, 3, 4. CO, 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 CO. It is a one isomers. Another one, in the cobalt metal do not directly bonded, but in the cobalt metal bonded with bridged carbonyl. Bridged carbonyl. 2 carbonyl groups are the totally 8 carbonyl ligands. Among the 8 carbonyl ligands, 2 carbonyl ligands are bridged carbonyl ligands. Remaining 6 carbonyl ligands. 1, 2, 3. CO, CO, CO. 1, 2, 3. CO, CO, CO. So totally 2 bridged carbonyl ligands are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terminal carbonyl ligands are there. But in this compound, in same compounds are there. In these compounds, the metal bond, cobalt metal bonds are there. Remaining for each cobalt metal directly bonded with 4 terminal carbonyl ligands are there. It is a classification of metallic carbonyls. Okay? So in the metallic carbonyl further first classified into 2 types. One is a classification based on the number of metal atom. Another one, classification is based on the structure. The classification based on the number of metal atom further classified into 2 types. One is in the mononuclear metal carbonyl, then polynuclear metal carbonyl. Polynuclear metal carbonyl further classified into 2 types. One is homonuclear metal carbonyl, then heteronuclear metal carbonyl. Is a classification based on the structure which contain or which involve either metal bond or bridged carbonyl group or both. In the carbonyl ligand directly bond with only one metal atom known as a terminal carbonyl group. In the carbonyl ligand directly bond with 2 metals simultaneously known as a bridged carbonyl group. It depends upon structure of the compounds further classified into 2 types. One is a non-bridged metal carbonyl and one is a bridged metal carbonyl. Non-bridged metal carbonyl which contain or do not contain bridged carbonyl group is further classified into 2 types. So non-bridged metal carbonyl with terminal carbonyl group, non-bridged metal carbonyl with terminal carbonyl group as well as a metal bond. Next one, bridged metal carbonyl which contain 2 or more bridged carbonyl group and 2 or more terminal carbonyl group and metal bond. It is a classification of metallic carbonyl. So next one topic, in the bonding in metal carbonyls. Bonding of metal carbonyl. Bonding in metal carbonyls. How to form a bond between metal and carbonyl? Bonding in metal carbonyl. Bonding in metal carbonyls. In metallic carbonyl, the bond formed between metal and ligand consists of 2 components. In first component, the carbon monoxide contains excess of lone pair of electrons are there. In complex compound which contain all metals are electron deficient species, all metal. For example, copper plus ion or cobalt 2 plus ion or copper 2 plus ion, zinc 2 plus ion or any other titanium 3 plus ions. This complex compound which contain d orbitals are vacant. D subsets are vacant. According to crystal theory, every metal atom or center metal atom or center metal ion make available number of vacant orbital equal to coordination number. How to form of coordination number? All in then what? Central metal atom are Lewis acid because of all central metal atom which contain vacant d orbital accept the lone pair of electron from the electron rich site. Okay, that's why all d orbital, all central metal ions are act as a Lewis acid because of according to Lewis concept. In then all electron accept as a Lewis acid. In complex compound contain which all central metal ion has vacant d orbital, that vacant d orbital easily accept the 1 or more unpaired electron, 1 or more lone pair of electron, 1 or more electron pair of electron to form of coordinate covalent bond with Lewis base. That's why all central metal atom containing d orbitals are act as a Lewis acid. Next one, negative ligand, positive ligand, neutral ligand. Uncharged ligands are neutral ligand. Negative charged particles ligands are negative ligand. Positive charged particles ligands are positive ligand. Those ligands which contain extra lone pair of electron are extra electron pair electrons. Those ligands easily donate lone pair of electron or electron pair to electron deficient species of a central metal atom in a complex compound to form of coordinate covalent complex. Okay, so all ligands are Lewis base. All central metal ions are central metal atoms are Lewis acid. So, in the coordinate covalent bond formed between Lewis acid, Lewis base to form of complex. How to form of? The metal carbonyl ligand bond formed between these complex. This complex means in the copper, for example, copper plus, copper 2 plus, cobalt 2 plus, zinc 2 plus, titanium 3 plus, gas vacant d-orbital. Vacant d-orbital. Already we have learned according to crystal field theory or ligand field theory, every metal atom make available number of vacant orbital equal to coordination number. Okay. These complex contain excess of what? D orbitals are there. In the D orbitals all are vacant orbitals. Okay. Next one. Carbonyl ligands. In the carbonyl ligands has extra electrons. In the carbonyl ligand donate lone pair of electron or electron pair electron to vacant d orbital of metal atom. So carbonyl ligand has excess of lone pair of electron or electron pair which is easily donate to vacant metal d orbital of central metal atom to form of sigma bond. In the bond known as a sigma bond. After migration of electron pair electron from the carbon monoxide to metal, electron density increases around the metal atom in D subcell. Electron density increases around the D orbital of metal atom in central metal ion. In order to compensate the electron density of D orbital in central metal atom, which is easily reactive with empty orbital, antibonding pi star orbital. In order to compensate electron density of d orbital of metal atom, which is easily interact with antibonding empty pi star orbital to form of bi bond. This is a bond known as a bi bond. It is a second compound. In first component, electron pair transfer from carbon monoxide to metal. That's why electron density increases around the central metal atom of central metal ion. Next, in order to compensate the electron density, in the central metal atom, again electron donate to antibonding pi star orbital to form of bi bond. It is a second component. Okay. In this metallic carbonyl, the electron move from carbonyl ligand to metal through sigma bond. Metal to antibonding pi star orbital through pi bond. In this effect known as a synergistic effect or back bonding effect. The synergistic effect, back bonding effect can be diagrammatically expressed as in the central metal atom, central metal ion has vacant D subcell. Carbon monoxide electron present in P subcell. The D subcell can be expressed as a cleverly shape of 4 loops are there. 2 loops meet in one point known as a nodal point. The plane pass through the nodal point known as a nodal plane. Another 2 loops meet in one point known as a nodal point. The plane pass through the nodal point known as a nodal plane. Each D subcell has 2 nodal points are there, 2 nodal planes are there, 4 loops are there. Okay. It is a P subcell. P subcell has a dumbbell shape. In the dumbbell shape of P subcell contain 2 loops are there. In the 2 loops meet in one point known as a nodal point, only one nodal plane, only one nodal points are there. Okay. It is an example of carbonyl ligands CO. It is an example of central metal atom, metal ions. In the carbonyl ligands which contain extra electron pair. In the extra electron pair donate to vacant d orbital of central metal atom to form of sigma bond. So, in first component, the electron migrate from, in the vacant excess of electron pair from the carbon monoxide to, in the ligand to central metal atom through sigma bond. Due to electron density increases around the central metal atom of d orbital. That's why in order to compensate the electron density in the d orbital further react with or interact with antibonding pi star orbital of carbon monoxide. That's why in the d orbital contain extra electron donated to in the ligands to form of bi bond. It is a dynamically in the classification or expression of in the bonding in metal carbonates. Bonding in metal carbonates. Okay, students. Today topic over. In the next topic we will meet the next video. Thank you.